Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. I'm Carol Ann Logue, Executive Director of the Florida Photonics Cluster, and you'll meet the rest of the team here, or at least see their pictures and hear their names shortly. But our goal this morning, and this is the first time we've done this, is to just lay out for you what the cluster is, what our mission is, and what we offer you as a member of the cluster. Because for you to give us money and pay for membership, you should expect and get value out of it. So we want to make sure that you know all the ways that you can engage with the cluster and tap the resources and the connectivity of the cluster to benefit your organization and to help you achieve your goals in whatever organization that you're in. But because we have a fairly small group this morning, and we had a lot of folks that couldn't join us, but I would love for everybody just to briefly introduce themselves so that you know who else is on the call this morning or in the meeting. So let's see, you'll hear, well, go ahead and Amanda, if you just
You,
want to start. I'm looking at the
yeah,
who's in the row here. Yeah.
I'll start and I can call people out on like the
Yeah.
order they're on my screen. So I'm Amanda Starling. I'm with Florida Makes, and Florida Makes is the manufacturing extension partnership for the state of Florida. And one of the things we do is association management. And so we are the association management company for the Florida Photonics Cluster. It's good to be here today with all of you. Next on my screen is Kenneth.
Hi, my name is Kenneth Faree. I'm CEO of Sustainable Photonics. I do consulting and sales, business development, and mergers and acquisitions. I look forward to hearing more about Florida Photonics Cluster.
Thank you. And next is Ty.
I'm Ty Olmstead. I'm the president of Florida Photonics. I also am the vice president of engineering for Ocean Optics.
And next is Jill.
Hi, I'm Jill Lowry. I'm the quality manager for Minnesota Optics, and we are a build-to-print optic component manufacturer.
Thank you. And next is Alyssa.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alyssa Barber Torres. I'm the Chief Innovation and Emerging Technology Officer for Orange County Government in the Office of Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings. The county supports the Florida Photonics Cluster with an investment each year to help them provide STEM education for youth in our community, and happy to support their efforts.
Thank you. And then next is Jim.
Good morning. Jim McNally, retired from full-time work. I have a PhD in optics. I serve as a volunteer treasurer for SBIE. I'm new to the board of advisors for CREO, working with Dave and the rest of his team. And I have a consulting business where I specialize in government affairs targeted on appropriations for small, mid-size enterprises. Fairly new in the Orlando area, but would like to be supportive, especially as a bridge, if you will, communication bridge, activities bridge with SBIE in particular.
Hmm.
Thanks.
Look
Thank
forward
you,
to,
Jim.
yeah, look forward to having conversation and brainstorming with you, Jim, about
That'd be great,
how
Carol.
we do that. Yeah. All right. I think that's everyone. So, as we go through this, we have a few slides. We're just going to share with you some information, but please feel free if you have a question along the way, please feel free to go ahead and ask it. And we'll certainly have time for Q&A at the end as well. Some of you may not know that the organization known today as the Florida Photonics Cluster has been around for nearly 30 years. For those of those of us who have been in Florida a long time and saw the early history of the optics and photonics industry emerge with the establishment and growth of the defense industry and so many other things, and Bill Swartz, new Bill Swartz, when he was a visionary pioneer at the Glen Martin Corporation, which is now, of course, the Lockheed Martin Fire and Missile Command, or Missile and Fire Command. but he really was the visionary that created the original organization, the Florida Electro-Optics Industry Association, and was very influential in supporting Creole, the College of Optics and Photonics, and spearheading a lot of the industry engagement with UCF. But because of his work and his entrepreneurial spirit, starting a number of optics and laser photonics companies and others that spun out of Swartz Electro Optics, he really is, I like to say, the godfather, if you will, of the photonics cluster that is now internationally known, anchored here in Central Florida. Next. And our mission as the Florida Photonics Cluster is quite straightforward. It's not unlike the mission of many industry organizations that bring together individuals, industry, academia, government, and nonprofits of various sorts, all to coalesce around a particular area of interest and economic driver and create a united voice that can not only help promote all the individual members of the organization, but be a voice for the collective of those organizations to create all sorts of opportunities. And we'll talk about some of those opportunities as we go. I will say Florida is obviously on the globe as a cluster and as a well-known area of innovation and research and education for optics and photonics. But there are other clusters as well, such as in Arizona, Montana, New York, and we are increasingly connecting with those. And what really is important that we're going to be trying to do some messaging to help everybody better understand is the differences in those clusters, because each of the clusters has kind of some distinct characteristics in terms of the industry focus and the areas of predominant research and education. So you'll be learning more about that and hearing more about opportunities to connect with and engage with organizations in those other clusters to build relationships, find opportunities to collaborate, and even tap resources and assets that each of the clusters has to offer. Next. All right, Ty, you want to talk a little bit about the executive board team here?
So we're actually very fortunate to have a lot of members from the industry in Florida as part of the board. Dr. Kunal is over at Mitra, is at FIT. He's a professor of biomedical engineering. As you can see, he's been a standing member for a great while, so is Florida Tech. Stefan is from over at Edmond Optics in Tampa. And Sean, who just recently became secretary, is basically an executive director for LIA. So they're leaders in the industry that are on board and actually helping us move forward.
Mm-hmm.
I find them all very valuable, and Carolyn and Amanda, as you can tell, are extremely valuable to our success.
Well, thank you very much. So,
Thank you.
next couple of slides are, so that was the board leadership. As I've shared earlier, serve as executive director, so on a part-time basis, and I bring a background of several decades actually working with technology researchers, entrepreneurs, and companies. A lot of work in the government and federal R&D space as well, but all focused in some way or other of moving technology innovation from ideation and R&D into marketplace application. And that took a whole variety of forms across a very wide range of industries and technologies, including optics and photonics. As former director of the University of Central Florida Business Incubation Program, one of the 9 incubator facilities that we operated was actually a photonics incubator. So we I have a lot of experience working with companies, not only emerging out of academia, but partnering with academia to do cutting edge, groundbreaking research and develop products and services. And then my partner in creative chaos.
So, like I said earlier, during introductions, Florida Makes does association management for the Florida Photonics. So you'll be hearing from me a lot. This is my email, my Florida Photonics email. So I'm just here to help the members and Carol Ann and the board with anything they need. We've been working with Florida Photonics Cluster for a little over a year, I think a year and a few months. So I'm new to the photonics industry. I've been with Florida Makes for about 5.5 years. So it's a pleasure to be working with you all.
And I just want to say that since we developed the relationship with Florida Makes, and one thing I didn't share earlier is I have been on the board of the Florida Photonics Cluster for 10 plus years, representing the UCF Business Incubation Program, and was part of the decision to contract with Florida Makes for association management. And it is just, we're really beginning to see the ROI for us of that decision to work with this organization and to have Amanda and her association management experience to really help bring a lot more expertise and professionalism, particularly in the behind the scenes operations. But that frees up the board and me as well to really focus on building programming and services and connecting and outreach and marketing and supporting you in ways that I think we haven't been able to do in a long time. So thank you, Amanda.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about what you have available to you. And this is certainly not all of it, but we do want to give you a brief overview of some of the things that we're already embarking on and are ramping up in 2026. And we are expanding the opportunities for you to build relationships, meet potential collaborators and customers, resource providers, and just help grow your business and grow your organization or make those connections that are so important to you. We had a in-person event week before last that it was our annual joint networking event slash plant tour with the Manufacturers Association of Central Florida. Had a great turnout. It was hosted by Optigrate, which is part of the IPG global family. And a lot of energy. I know Kenneth was there, and it was a great example and a great way to start off the year with in an in-person networking format with a lot of energy and a lot of learning and a lot of new connections established. I know I have a lot of follow-up meetings and calls already coming out of that. But because our membership is scattered across the state and across the country, we know a lot of our members, and Jill's a good example, can't necessarily attend in person very easily. Even a lot of our board members, are 3 or 4 hours away. So we are going to be doing more virtual events as well. I'll talk a little bit more about the webinars, but we also are actively looking at opportunities to move the in-person networking events around the state. So we're looking at Tampa, we're looking at the East Coast, we're looking at South Florida, because we want to go where we can be closer to some of our members and board members and others that would just like to learn more about the cluster. And students too are very important, and give them the opportunity to network and connect. So stay tuned for more of that. And if you have any suggestions for locations, tours that we might could do in various locations, please feel free to reach out to Amanda and I or let her know. Industry connections. One of the things that you have available to you is if you want to meet one of the other members in the cluster and you don't have their contact information, please let us know. Or if there's a company that's not even a member in the cluster, but you would like to engage with them because they represent a potential customer or collaborator for you, reach out to us. Odds are that we or somebody on our board have a connection at that organization through some other network or community that we're part of. And we want to help you get in the door much more easily and quickly than you might on your own. And one of the ways that uh, we're exploring doing that is to do some joint activities of some sort, and the in-person networking events are an example of that. Like when we go to Tampa or when we go to South Florida or we go to the Space Coast, very likely we will do that in conjunction with another industry organization that represents companies that are applying and using photonics and lasers, um, as well as, our members that are in the area, because we really want to broaden the circle that you have access to. And that's another area that if you have some suggestions or you're a member of, maybe it's IEEE, or maybe it's the Aerospace Industry Association, or just one of the hundreds of different industry associations out there, and you would like to help us establish a connection with them, please let us know. And then strategic introductions, that could be to universities for R&D collaborations or workforce access, perhaps the government entities that you're trying to communicate with, and DHS or DoD, NASA. We have connections in all of those areas and more. So happy to help make those introductions. And if we don't have that connection, help identify how to get there. That's a lot of my background, is actually working in the federal government sector, and particularly in the national security sector. We do want to ramp up some webinars. This is the first of the year, but we have a number of other topics that you see listed there that we are working on laying out a series of webinars. We may not get all those done this year, but these are topics that we have identified are of interest to some of our members. The next one that you will start to see messaging about, if not later today, than tomorrow.
I'll put the registration link in the
it.
chat
Right.
here. Yeah, so you can go ahead and
Okay.
register, and you can go ahead and
This-
talk about it.
This is the U.S. It's a webinar jointly with the Byrd Foundation, which is the bilateral international research and development foundation, an arm of the Israeli Innovation Authority. And we will be partnering with them along with the photonics clusters in Arizona and Montana to offer this webinar on April 16th about a program that they have to help you as a company, if you're interested, find an Israeli company to collaborate with on a R&D project and apply and submit an application for funding to the Byrd Foundation. There's actually a very successful program in the state of Florida that parallels this. If any of you are familiar with Space Florida, they have for 6 years now worked with another arm of the Israeli Innovation Authority to run the Florida Israeli Space Innovation Program that has very successfully paired U.S. and Israeli companies for R&D and commercialization in areas related, obviously, to space and national security. So the Byrd Foundation is complementary to what the other program under the Israeli Innovation Authority funds. So we're very excited about that, and have some experience within the state of Florida and within the team about how these collaborations with Israeli companies work, and some tips on how to find those companies and manage those collaborations. So hope you'll tune in and to that and spread the word if you know others that might be interested, or you're part of organizations that might be interested. You don't have to be a member of any of the photonics clusters to participate in this. This just partnering with these 3 clusters in the U.S. was just how the Byrd Foundation felt was really the most strategic way to help get the word out about this program right now. The next three webinars that you see listed, and again, may not be in this order, but these three areas of rapidly emerging application for optics and photonics and lasers, biophotonics, semiconductors, and quantum, which we're all hearing a lot about. We are looking at pulling together some webinars to provide not particularly heavy technology insight, but more market insight. Where is it going? And who are some of the organizations leading that development and early commercialization of products? And what are some of the barriers to all that? Because as we know, semiconductors and quantum in particular are really game changers and what's happening there and how photonics in particular is making possible things that have never been possible before. Research and development, resources, and workforce pipeline, critical to every company in the industry. That's one of the webinars that we'll do to introduce some of the capabilities of our world-class universities and state colleges that have technician programs as well, and offer some R&D capabilities. The laser safety innovation, if you recall when Ty introduced the officers of the board, Sean, who's the executive director of the Laser Institute of America, is on the board. If you don't work in lasers, you may not be familiar with LIA, but they are the certified organization in the United States to train on the standards for safety in lasers. They are designated by ANSI, who's the standard setting organization. They work hand in hand with NIST, the National Institute for Standards and Technology. They write, they develop, they write, they deliver the training and certification in laser safety. So we want to bring them in along with actually one of our new members who all they have done for decades is very highly innovative, cutting edge laser safety products. And they'll be doing a webinar for us on the latest in laser safety, not only in standards and regulations, but also in products. SPIE and Optica are probably the two major international organizations that the Florida Photonics Cluster participates in and that offer you opportunities beyond Florida and beyond the US for connectivity. Those are the two organizations that probably sponsor the bulk of the really significant optics and photonics events. Or there are other organizations that do, and we'll talk about some of those in a minute where we're going to be participating. But SPIE and Optica are both represented on our board, and you heard Jim talk about his involvement. So we want to bring each of them on in a webinar to provide our members and community information about what SPIE has to offer and how you could benefit from engagement there. Any questions on any of that before we move on?
I would mention that LIA, if you have even a more complicated laser issue, they have access to the right consultants to help your business too.
Yes.
And they actually do even more complicated analysis beyond what typically with the standards. So they're a very useful company.
Good point. And they're in Orlando, in the Central Florida Research Park. So they're right in the hub of, right next to UCF, basically. Yeah. Okay, next slide. We talked a little bit already, I think, about the international collaboration through, it'll be the Bird Foundation. Other examples of opportunities internationally that we're in conversations about. Select Florida is the state entity that works on international collaborations and trade, both directions, companies that want to come to the US as well as US Florida companies that want to engage internationally. So we are already engaged with Select Florida in conversations about some of their upcoming trade delegations to Canada, to Germany. The state of Florida just recently put in place a joint declaration of intent with the country of Germany. And on that list of key focus areas is photonics. So the Florida Photonics Cluster will be the voice at the table representing that industry. Select Florida also does have standing relationships with a number of other countries, Israel, France, Italy, Spain. So as we get more and more involved with them, we want to be sure that we are the speaking on behalf of all of our members and letting you know about opportunities for international collaboration and engagement that they bring. Then domestically, as I mentioned, we are looking at opportunities or speaking to some of the other clusters about opportunities to collaborate with them. Arizona, Montana, New York, New Jersey are the primary ones that we're engaged with, but also some of the other industry organizations that we'll look at collaborating with. But let's talk about marketing, getting your name out, getting you visibility and brand awareness in places and ways that maybe you're not going to be able to be there, or you're going to be there, but additional visibility would be helpful. The Florida Photonics Cluster does participate as an exhibitor at Photonics West each year, also at the Defense and Security Conference. Both of those are events put on by SPIE. We're looking at other opportunities as well this year. One is later in the year in the Panhandle of Florida at Eglin Air Force Base that is done by IEEE, that's really heavily focused on the defense industry there. There's another one that's going to be over in the Space Coast that's really more in the optics and photonics manufacturing space. So as we solidify our participation in these events, you will hear about that, so that if you would like to provide us information to have available at our table and in our exhibit about your company, we certainly want to make sure that we do that. And if you are going to be at any of the same conferences or events where the cluster is going to be exhibiting, we definitely want to know that. Usually I going in and I'm looking at the exhibitor list to identify who else is on the exhibit floor that is a member of the cluster, because one of the things that we want to do is give you visibility at the event. A good example of that is, if you may have seen some of the little video snippets that were posted earlier in the year following Photonics West, where I went around on the exhibit floor and just did quick little video interviews with members of the cluster that were on the floor to give them a chance to talk about what they were showcasing at Photonics West and just a little bit about who they are in general. So that's media visibility that you can repurpose as you would like, but certainly just addition to whatever you may be doing as a company. And on social media, and our LinkedIn page is our primary social media outlet right now. We are looking at others. We just set up a YouTube channel. We will be putting all those little video interviews from Photonics West on there and others as we do them. We'll put this webinar on there. So we will make that link available to you. It'll be on our webpage as well to access. The last thing I'll talk about here is STEM workforce and making our youth and college students, high school, college students in particular, and even others that are in the workforce, early in the workforce, aware of this, that this industry exists, is so important. I think all of us that are in this area, we experience the fact that if you say optics and photonics to 99% of the people you're around, they kind of look at you like, what? Okay. You know, they don't know why it matters. They don't understand how their life would be totally dysfunctional without what photonics and lasers and optics provide the underlying, because it's such a fundamental area of technology innovation that, as we know, just is part of absolutely every industry out there. So we're we're on a mission to help spread that word to the broader community through outreach. Initially, we're going to be pursuing doing some events through the Orange County Library System at the new Orange County Innovation Center once that opens later this year as well. Also to reach educators. I've long personally just been a firm believer that if you educate and equip one educator to better understand a particular area of technology, you impact hundreds of students. We are partnering with an organization called AmeriCom, the American uh, Association of Optics Manufacturers, and they have an education arm. They will be coming down to do an educator workshop with us in August, and we will be reaching into Orange County schools as well as some surrounding schools to reach those high school physics and math and maybe chemistry teachers to help them understand about the opportunities available in optics and photonics and be equipped to expose their students to it. We've already been at the First Robotics Regional competition last week and did a workshop for some of the students there to make them aware of the fact that they're already using photonics. When they build those robots, all those sensors, all that communication, so many parts of those kits that they use to build those robots are photonics based. So that was part of the presentation, along with just helping them understand all the different, some of the different industries that would have a chance to be engaged in if they chose to pursue a career in optics and photonics. Creole at the University of Central Florida does run just phenomenal summer camps. We do help sponsor those, and we'll be actively looking for other opportunities to reach into communities of students to educate in Orange County in particular, because thanks to Alyssa and her team, we do have a small grant that helps support all this. And we want to be sure that we keep that workforce pipeline filled for you, not only coming out of the high schools, but at Valencia, at UCF, at other educational organizations. Okay, next, Amanda.
Yeah,
Okay,
next we want to share about the website. If you want me to talk about
that's
the member
you
community.
go. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I don't know if everyone has been on our website. If you want to follow along, it's floridaphotonics.org. And after we're done with the slides, I can go to the website live and show it to you. But I just wanted to highlight for all of you that as a member of the Florida Photonics Cluster, you do have a member login on the website, and we have a member community. So it's fairly new. We're kind of just soft launching it for now, getting people logged in with their passwords and everything. But if you see when you go here, this is the home page, floridaphotonics.org, and you click login in the top right side of the screen, and this is what it says. And if you've never logged in before, click on can't access your account and put in your email address, and it will email you a link to log in for the first time, and then you can set your password, and you'll be able to log in. Your username is your email, and then you can set your password by clicking can't access your account. And then once you're logged in, this is what it'll look like. We have our member community with discussion posts. This is my profile. So I'll go stop sharing here and go right to the website. So that might be easier than showing slides. Okay, so here I am on the website. You can see also this is for logged in and public, but all our webinars and everything are here. And if there's like you see, we have iCalio here as a partner event. So if you have an event you want us to share on our website, we can. We have all our webinars and things here. So the one for the Bird Foundation is here. And you can register by clicking on the link. We also have a latest news section. If you have any news you want us to share, we can post it here on the latest news. We've been posting some member news on there. But to log in, you just click login. Mine is saved because I've logged in before, but you just click login. And then right here under member community, it has our community with all our events, the discussion posts that we're posting, everything on there. You can see all your fellow members here. So we're adding people as they join up to 97. Everyone should be in here. You see, look, he's on there. He has his profile already set up. So that's good. You can go to your profile and change your you can add a picture by clicking. So if you don't have a profile picture, it'll just have like your initials here, I think. So you click here and then profile, and you can change your profile picture. You can add your bio and everything. And so it's a way we want to get people to be able to connect with each other as members of the association. Everybody can post on here. If you look on here, it's been mostly me. But you can post on here if you have something like a question, something you want to talk to your fellow members about. You can go to discussion and you can post a message. And so it's kind of like a message board or like a discussion board. So you can post a message, and then I don't know if you've noticed, like in the emails that the daily digest that you get in your emails, you'll post a message, say you post something today, and then if somebody hasn't logged in to see it, they'll get an email about it tomorrow. So all the members will get it in their email. So we want to get members into the website, starting to use it, and just being able to kind of interact with each other on there, like a members only space.
If you have a position that you're hiring for,
Yes.
we had a member that Arden
Yeah, post
Photonics
on there.
posted a position, and that alerted us to that. So we put it out on social media. We made it available at the next event where we were exhibiting and collected a whole bunch of resumes for them. So, yeah.
Yeah, so make sure to utilize that. We want to get, and as members see other members posting things on there, they'll start posting on there more. So we'd love to get people to start using it. If you have an event, you have a press release you want to share, any news, questions, you can post it on there. And you can also get contact with your other members. You can send them private messages. You see, like here's like if I wanted to send Alexi, I can send him a message on here. Send message. And you can also connect, add as contact, which is kind of like adding as a friend, like on LinkedIn or Facebook. Any questions about the website? If you have any issues with it as you're like trying to log in or anything, and you can't get in or anything like that, sometimes like the email will go to spam. It's like the password set email. So if you need help, just let me know.
Hey, Amanda, I've just got to say you were doing a phenomenal job. How responsive you were and getting my profile up, and
no problem.
Really appreciate
I'm glad you're in
it.
there. I'm glad you're in there using it. Thank you.
So quick question on for the discussion part of the website. What kind of content are you guys ideally looking for?
I think it's good for people to engage, if because a lot of it is me posting things like FYI, like sign up for our webinar, come to our networking event. I'd like to see it, and Carol Ann Ty, tell me if you can think of any other things, but I'd like to see people talking to each other on there, like posting like something engaging, like where if you have a question or you want to talk to your fellow members about something photonics related or anything like that, just to because they can respond to it on there.
Right.
And you can tag people too. The people, like if you say like at and then type someone's name, like who's already in there, like one of the fellow members that will like tag them. And if you have someone specific you want to post something to, like, or like have them chime in or something like that. But I'd like to see it get like more like interactive.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
like, say there's somebody that you'd like to connect with in another
Mm-hmm.
company or person, put it out there in the
Mm-hmm.
community because you somebody may know them or have a
Yeah.
connection. Or like how LinkedIn works. Think of it,
Mm-hmm.
how when you message in LinkedIn, or to groups in LinkedIn, similar to that. Yeah, just asking a question. Anybody know a resource that for
Mm-hmm.
this? Or anybody have some best practices that you would like to you could share about this? So
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay.
And if you're like
Perfect.
going to
Thank
an
you.
event and like an event and say, like, is anyone else going or something? I don't know, something like
Yeah,
that, like one of our industry events.
yeah, yeah. Say, hey, let's get together,
Hmm.
have a dinner, have a drink if you're going to be there. So,
Yeah, you can
great.
use it for really anything.
Mhm.
It could be
Okay.
fun stuff
Perfect.
too. It doesn't have to be all very serious.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So cat emojis are very
Yeah, I
good.
don't
Is
mind.
what you're
Yeah.
saying. Okay.
Got
Yeah.
Great.
got a good optical engineering joke? Yeah.
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 Yeah, that
Right.
would be fun.
Hard to come by, but I'll try.
Hey, you
Yeah,
never
just
know.
kidding. Thank you.
Thanks for asking, Tyler. Yeah.
And there are and right now we have our main community, which is all the members, but there's an opportunity as we go and build it out to have sub communities. If we have like committees or special interest groups, we can make sub communities of like certain specialized things if people want
Mhm.
to like make it more like smaller or different people who want to get together to talk about things. So you may see that in the future. Any other questions about the website? I'll go back to our slide deck. I think
Yeah, I think
that's most of our, yeah, it's just kind of Q&A left. If anyone has questions or anything else they want to.
yeah, or suggestions
Yeah.
of, as I think you heard mentioned throughout, if you have a suggestion or connection for another industry group that you think it would be valuable for us to connect with and talk to about collaborating, or you're somewhere around the state of Florida and you have a great suggestion for some place that we could hold an event
Mhm.
and bring together the community there, academia and industry, our members, broader community leaders. It's so important to all of us that leaders in the communities where you are and around Florida better understand how important this whole industry is and underpins so much of the economic vitality in their own communities. So we welcome the opportunity to engage with local leaders, state representatives and senators and economic development professionals. Certainly, that's a key group to Alyssa's peers around the state who are leading innovation and economic development around the state to help them understand how important this industry is.
Yes. Mhm.
Ty?
Couple questions or couple comments. The display cubes for the shows that we go to,
Mm-hmm.
that should probably be rolled out at some point.
Yes, we didn't talk about that yet because
Okay.
we didn't have all the details
Yeah,
worked
that's fine.
out.
That's fine.
So,
Um, one
but
of
yeah.
one of the questions I think that would be helpful from the entire Florida photonics community is where should we be
Yeah.
right now?
Mhm.
Right now we go to Photonics West, we go to the Defense Symposium, which alternates between Baltimore and Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
We will have people on the floor at a couple different conferences, but where do we see as a community we should be?
Mm-hmm.
And what things are important? There's a lot of different conferences out there,
Right.
and we have two that we typically go to.
Yeah.
So that'd be really helpful to have people comment on that and give some
Mhm.
insight to what is their most important conference. I know that Gulf Photonics in Tampa's their most important conferences are Laser Munich and Analytica. They don't even go to Photonics West. They don't find enough sales in that.
Right.
So
And but for example, I think an example of someplace that will be represented, maybe because Ty is going to be attending, and that is the Optica Biophotonics Congress in Fort Lauderdale in April. That's a great example of an application area of optics and photonics. And I think that's sort of along the line of where it may make sense for us to show up more, is not just where the optics and photonics community gathers, but where are the potential where are those that use and benefit from optics and photonics? Another example is we have this huge defense industry across Florida. There's in space and national security, modeling, simulation, and training. Orlando is a global hub for that. We probably should have some visibility at ITSIC because every immersive technology out there is utilizes optics and photonics. So that's a good example of an industry that really doesn't have an appreciation for how vital our industry is to them. So
I think one thing that might be interesting for me, maybe for others in the organization, is I know we have our scheduled events and everything, but just a general events calendar, like you're saying, the biophotonics going on in
okay.
April and stuff, just the calendar so people know what's going on within
The
Florida,
industry.
even if we're not attending.
It's a good idea. Great idea. Yeah. So like we
So
put the ICALIO event on there, for example, we could certainly put
We can do
this,
others, yeah.
this IEEE Rapid event in the Panhandle that we're considering participating. There's a POMA workshop that's going to be in Orlando, the American Photonics and Optics Manufacturers Association. Who knew, right? Yeah. Others like that, to your point, Kenneth. Even IPSC, for example, where
so
members involved.
one of the other things we thought about doing is going into the incubators and having those companies do pitches as part of a get together for the cluster. Is that something that's interesting to anybody? Finding out what's, basically what's starting in the incubators and getting ready to pop out as an industry.
Yeah, I think that would be very interesting to me, for sure.
So, Jill, what would be interesting to you? You're not going to get away free.
I don't know. This organization is new to us. We just recently joined, so I'm not sure where we would stand with
That's
it
okay.
yet.
So, okay. Have you taken advantage of the membership page to basically give people more insight to what you do? Because like I buy optics, and knowing your capabilities on the site, I can look there first before I have to go to a company like QED in Rochester and see if there's an opportunity there.
We have not yet. Amanda actually sent me the link, I think, or asked me about that earlier this week. So, but no, we have not yet completed all of that information. We're a small defense contractor, so specializing in that. So I guess that's but I will fill that out. That'll probably be, my guess is early next week. I'll get all that.
Excellent.
Okay. Tyler, I told you weren't free either. You should have picked that up. What should we do different?
So one thing I really liked, just at least with the Florida Makes newsletter, I like how much airtime Kenneth got. He's been getting a lot of feature, but I love that idea of
that newsletter. So I don't know if it's confusing, but our websites, Florida Makes site, and then a couple of other sites are all connected. And so that newsletter you see that comes out every Wednesday is an AI generated newsletter for you based on stuff you do on the site. So things you click on, things you look at, it's AI generated based on like things that are relevant to you. And so Kenneth keeps getting featured in there, I think because he filled out his profile and he's like the most recently. So if you want to be featured next week, go in there, fill out your profile, and then it could be you. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
it's
no,
kind of, yeah. Yeah, it's
it's
cool. It's
more,
cool though. It's very cool. And then it says Florida.
yeah.
We've tried to see before, like, can we do one per site? Because like the Florida Make site and then a couple of different associations, including Florida Photonics Cluster, are like kind of all connected under the umbrella, like with the site. And so yeah, if you're members of a community, like if you're also a member of MACF, their site is on there too. So you'll see MACF content, you'll see like the Florida Makes content, like it's all like connected. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
And I
Hmm.
really like how it gives a snapshot of a member and kind of
Hmm.
with that larger idea of just featuring new members of just, hey,
Yeah.
here's a spotlight. Jill just signed up. Here's a little about her, maybe some
Mhm.
of the things she's looking for in the photonics industry, who she's looking to connect with. I mean, it could be even a couple questions, but even just a simple, hey, new member, here's a picture to make it personal. I mean, similar layout to how you have it. I just thought that was really excellent and kind of
Yeah, it's
highlights the
cool.
members. And if it
Yeah, we could
cycles
do that
through,
on the, like, I know Carol Ann's been really good about posting member spotlights on LinkedIn, which I think
yeah,
that's really cool to see. We could do that on the community too, like individual profiles, like highlight
Yeah.
them on the community, post on there, and then they can introduce themselves
Yeah.
and say what they're
Yeah.
looking for as part of the cluster. I think that would be
It's a
cool and
great
get people,
idea.
good way to people to like say hi to you as a new member, introduce themselves, and you can get your company name out there.
Yeah.
right, exactly.
That's good.
When I
Right,
do
because that,
those posts on LinkedIn, I will start just taking that
We
and
could
putting
post
it
it
on
on
the
the, yeah.
community page as
And we
well.
could,
So
you could
yeah.
tag the people, like
Yeah.
the ones that we have on there, and they can
Yeah.
they can respond to it and people can welcome them and stuff.
and Carol, those shorts that you did, thank you for coming
I
by our
love
booth at
those. Yeah.
Photonics West. That was really nice seeing you, and that was a lot of fun. Kind
That
of,
was fun. I got
yeah,
by the third day I'd gotten the hang of it. So,
She's a professional videographer.
I
really
had
good.
fun. And
Yeah.
it was a very fr- frankly kind of selfish motive initially when I started doing that because it's just like I want to learn about our members. I'm
Mhm.
brand new here. It's like I want to know these companies. It's
Oh,
like
you're a
I'm going to
natural.
ask them
You're a natural.
questions anyway, so might as well share with the world. So thank you so much, Tyler. Bill. Great feedback, great comments.
Yes,
So.
thank you. Anyone else have any feedback or questions or
Oh,
anything?
I'm curious, Jim, not going to let you off the hook either here this morning. So, it's particularly with the SPIE hat
Hmm.
you wear and as an advisor to the university now in Creo Board Industry Advisors. Any suggestions or thoughts?
Nothing specific. Still acclimating myself, but uh, when I was pretty active in Albuquerque, New Mexico,
Hmm.
I chaired the New Mexico um, Optics Association, and we struggled a lot. We had a small grant at one time, so I was able to, pay an executive director. But when we were all volunteers with day jobs,
Yeah.
and the state being geographically diverse, um, it was challenging. And
Hmm.
um, I think in terms of Florida with its large geographic coverage, and you've mentioned the idea of how to handle that, I think that'll remain a challenge.
Yes.
But I do think what I've seen so far, Amanda and Carol, is publicizing, getting out there.
Hmm.
LinkedIn's a very effective tool. Newsletter, monthly.
Yeah.
Things we just referred to as new members and things that people say, oh, Florida cluster, right? And keep saying that.
Yeah.
And then I think a key is we always struggled with should we reduce our membership fees? And
Yeah.
we got to a point of saying, if something's for free, then it has no value.
Yeah.
Hmm.
How do you make a value proposition? So I'd rather see us continue what you're doing on creating those value propositions for members. Why? Why should I join? What do I get out of this, right? Whether it's
Yeah.
um, market focused opportunities, the networking, growth of businesses, small businesses, right? That's a classic in
Hmm.
the optics photonics
Hmm.
world. And then, Carol, something you've mentioned with your background, funding opportunities. There are ways to
Hmm.
help organizations understand how to get funding opportunities and even how to do a good job. If it's I'm going to even say, with the SBIR
Yeah.
program getting reauthorized,
Finally.
and then a key, I think, is bridging. I think something a key for a cluster like this Ty and I have touched on this in some conversation, is we need to be bridging between the education and the workforce, right? Education, students want to know, where am I going to get a damn job? Do I have to move?
Hmm.
And then workforce, of course, consumers of talent want to know, how do I get the right technician, right? How do I get the person who knows how to align a laser and work in a clean room, et cetera? So I think that's something the cluster could do that would be a real service and value to members and maybe help grow the membership.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank
that's
you.
good. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually have been in conversations with Valencia College and their optics technician
Yeah.
program, optical engineering, about them just providing some information periodically that we could share with the community, share on LinkedIn if they have students that are looking for internships, part-time jobs, making that uh, available to
Yep.
member companies, that kind of things. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. We're looking forward to you and appreciate you stepping on to the Industrial Advisory Board for
Yeah,
Creole.
you bet. Thanks.
We lost Alyssa.
Oh, yes. Well, yeah,
Okay.
we're getting close to 10.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she probably had to go to another meeting there, but
All right.
yeah.
Thank you all for joining us
This has
for our
been
first webinar.
This has been great. We were hoping it would be a fairly small, intimate group,
Mhm.
frankly,
Yeah.
particularly for this one. We'll obviously be sharing this video. We will do this webinar again here in a
Mhm.
few months for those that couldn't join us or new members that join us. And as I'm traveling around the state or even around the country for various reasons, you may get a call from me that I'm going to come visit. For example, I have a meeting for a whole different board I'm on in Fort Worth next week. And one of our newest members, Photodyne, is in Richardson, Texas, just north of there. So I'm going to go visit them. So stay tuned. I may be wanting to show up and see. Or if you're going to be in Orlando, please let me know so we
Mhm.
can connect. Okay. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Take care.